This is my persuasive speech. Hello there, NFL Kingdom, sir, ma'am. I'm Ashi Alvarez. As this NFL season is upon us, I want to make it clear that the NFL is implementing lots of measures to ensure the game remains an honest, safe, and fun experience for players and fans alike. For the sake of time today, I'll be limiting these rules to just three of them: gambling, fair catches on kickoffs, and tripping. These are just a few of the many measures the NFL has implemented this year. I'm going to be discussing my opinions on these rules and why I stand where I stand. And by researching various journalists, insiders, and NFL executives, I think I have a good understanding of the rules I'll be sharing with you all today. So first, I'll be sharing first, and after that, you guys could share your thoughts. So the first rule is fair catches on kickoffs. I, in short, fair catches on kickoffs will now be treated as a touchback. I think this rule sucks. Why? Because one, fair catches on touchbacks on kickoffs are already a common occurrence. ESPN staff writer Kevin Seifert shares how in 2022, 60% of kickoffs went for touchbacks last year. 60%. That's more than half. That's a freaking waste of time, in my opinion. Secondly, there's already an overpowered rule. If the ball is kicked out of bounds during a kickoff, the receiving team gets the ball at their own 40-yard line instead of their own 25. That's awesome, but to basically have another way of getting free yards on kickoffs, that's where I draw the line. I don't like this new rule. And lastly, players don't even fair catch on kickoffs. They do one of three things: let the ball bounce, return the ball, or catch it and kneel it. They don't fair catch it. They do one of the three I just mentioned. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. Am I being too harsh on this new NFL rule and that I need to see the other side? Are you on board with me that this rule needs to be abolished next year? Let me know your thoughts right now. Well, thank you for sharing, because your thoughts are all awesome. Now for the second rule. This one revolves around gambling. In short, gambling can be summarized, the new NFL gambling rule can be summarized into three main points. One, only NFL players can bet. Two, it cannot be a team at work. And three, the player cannot bet on an NFL game. So if an NFL player wants to bet on a UFC match at Disneyland, for example, they can go ahead and do that. ESPN staff writer Stephen Holder, in an article of this year, shared what players thought of this new rule. Some players thought, oh, this rule is dumb. Others thought, I didn't even know of this rule. I like this rule very much. Why? Because first, players are already making a lot of money anyway. Why gamble away why gamble away a season of your career for a fraction of what you make? I don't understand it. Isaiah Rogers Sr., was a notable example of this. He was suspended for the 2023 season now because he was betting on NFL games last year. He's all set for life, even for a sixth-rounder. He may not make $30 million or something, but at least he has enough money to get a nice house or something like that. He's still set for life either way. Secondly, it undermines the integrity and honesty components of the game. In the NFL, winning and accomplishments are dependent on talent, prowess, and overall team cohesion. Players win and lose and accomplish as a team. If a player decides to gamble, it sparks a debate as to whether these players are actually helping their team out, or are they being selfish and using this betting for their own personal gain. Which one is it? I really think it's the latter. Gambling is most likely for your own personal gain, and for the case of NFL players, I think that fits the criteria very well. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on this rule. Do you think this gambling rule is too harsh on the players? Or do you agree with me that these rules are awesome and that the NFL should carry on this policy for the future? Let me know your thoughts. Well, I appreciate you sharing, because I'll be discussing the third and final rule: tripping. In short, the NFL rules of operation state that tripping will now be treated as a personal foul. and players will be subject to additional discipline from the league. I like this rule because 1. It keeps players safe. Yeah, I know tripping is bad in the modern world, but in the NFL, you can crack that statement up because players could suffer season ending or possibly career ending injuries because of tripping, and that's not good. Players have great careers ahead of them, and tripping players, it's going to bring a whole lot of consequences that were uncalled for. Intentional or not, these players need to be held accountable for tripping because that could teach them a lesson to not do it again. And the second reason why I like this rule is because it catches dirty players red-handed. Yeah, I know some players in the NFL are dirty, and makes me cringe because they are allowed to keep playing scot-free and the NFL doesn't discipline them. But not for long with this new rule. NFL players that decide to play dirty and trip other players, they're now going to get in trouble by the NFL, whether it be a suspension or a fine or something like that. The NFL is cracking down on these tripping shenanigans, and to ensure a safe experience for players, the NFL can get more and more strict with its consequences. So if a player decides, oh, let me just keep tripping, let's see how far that brings me. The NFL can possibly even suspend them indefinitely, not just a season indefinitely, as in career indefinitely. Yeah, it's just an example, it hasn't happened, but Vontaze Burfict, I know, and all of you guys should know, is a perfect example of this. A dirty player all his life, all his career, pardon me. It's no wonder this rule might apply to him very well. If he's going to keep injuring players or any other dirty player, if they're going to keep tripping players again and again, expect there to be a big consequence for their actions. But what do you think? Do you think I am favoring this rule way too much? Am I being too biased? Or should I hear the other side of things? Let me know your thoughts. Well, thank you for sharing. To conclude, the NFL is constantly making new measures season by season in order to keep the players and fans safe. It is important for us to discuss amongst each other, whether it be your friends, family, or coworkers, or anyone you know. It's important to discuss your opinions on these NFL rules. And why do you think these rules might either be bad or good? And I want to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to my speech today. There's millions of fans and millions of opinions in the NFL, so there's bound to be a fair share of drama and controversy. It's interesting to really hear what both sides have to say about these rules. Some think, oh, these rules suck. Others think, oh, this rule is awesome. But I am interested in what you guys have to say about these rules I have shared today. Are you on board with me for the most part? Or are my opinions flawed and I need to re-educate myself on these rules and figure out what I really want to think? Thank you all for sharing. All the best.